Namaskar. Welcome to this session. We are taking up the siddhi of knowledge of the human embodiment, our embodiment, called Kayavyuha vijnanam. And of course, what must be understood at the outset, that this is not just the understanding of anatomy and physiology, and that is not the knowledge of the Kayavyuha, but this is knowledge of esoteric anatomy, the esoteric aspects of the body. And that has great importance in Adhyatma, because Adhyatma discusses that primarily and gives one revelation about it. So, the sutra is about Kayavyuha jnanam, and this is by Samyama on the nabhi chakra. So, the sutra is nabhi chakre Kayavyuha jnanam, and this is the jnanam that is needed in spiritual path, and this is not the knowledge that is needed in medical science about the body. Kaya means body, and human body is not made up of those hundreds of trillions of cells and those 15,000 million nerve cells. Of course, the exoteric body has billions and billions of blood cells, hundreds of trillions of body cells, and about 15,000 million nerve cells, of which 10,000 million are in the brain, called neurons. So what is being claimed is not the knowledge about the exoteric body, which one would get by looking into the book of anatomy and physiology. But here the knowledge is that which is useful and which is targeted in Adhyatma, in spiritual process. Basically, our embodiment, according to the spiritual wisdom, is that there is Adhyatmic, adishthanam, Adidaivik, sangatanam, and adibhautik, avishkaranam. That is, the manifestation is adibhautika, constituted by Adidaivik aspects and founded on Adhyatmic locus. This is how the body, human embodiment, is considered to be. And this is absolutely important in yoga, Adhyatma, and paramartha. Usually the body is considered to be subject matter of study of medicine in neo-Vaidyaka Shastra, Navya Vaidyaka Shastra, or even the Western study of exoteric human body. And of course, that study is quite incredible and quite mind-boggling. But that is only for Navya Vaidyaka Shastra. In Arsha Vaidyaka Shastra or Ayurveda, this study that we get about human embodiment in science of anatomy and physiology is there, but it also extends beyond in ancient Ayurveda Shastra. Our embodiment, as just now mentioned, has adibhautik manifestation, Adidaivik constitution and Adhyatmic substrate. So also the human embodiment is looked in the perspective of sthula shariram, sukshma shariram, karana shariram, that is gross body, subtle or the causal, subtle or the astral body, and the causal body. So that's called Sharira Traya Vichara. The Adhyatma also considers something as Ativahika Linga Shariram Vasana Deha, or called Sukshma Deha. Now this is eternal body. While the gross body of the materials is a transient body, it is for only lifetime. So it comes and goes away to formulate a lifetime experience. So also the Adhyatma speaks about Pancha koshatmaka deha or Panchamaya deha. That is Annamaya, Pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. So the body is also looked into or understood through this particular dimension called Pancha koshatmaka deha. So tridehatmaka Pancha koshatmaka is the perspective taken by Adhyatma. And this only comes in Adhyatma. The exoteric anatomy or exoteric sciences about the body do not speak about panchakoshas and do not speak about linga shariram, do not speak about astral body, but they just speak about the gross elemental body. So human embodiment has something that can be called as sthula, in the sense matter of perception. It is also vyakta, drushya, deha. Vyakta means manifest. So it can be an object of senses. But that is how is the outermost layer of the body. But then the human embodiment is also spoken of as Sapta dhatuatmaka deha. The body constituted by Sapta dhatus. And this is considered in Ayurveda, although not in modern medicine or the study of body in modern medicine. It doesn't speak about the Sapta dhatus. But Arsha Vaidyaka Shastra speaks about it as dhatuatmaka, Sapta dhatus, making up of a human body. Anyway, what is to be understood that Adhyatma and Yoga Shastra particularly speaks about esoteric anatomy physiology, or what is called as Gudha Sharira Vijnanam. And that is the subject matter of the sutra here when it speaks about Kayavyuha jnanam. So, according to the esoteric anatomy, as portrayed in Adhyatma, Upanishads, Yoga Shastra, it also counts so many things apart from what exoteric counts. Prana nadis, nadi mula, and uniquely it speaks about nabhi, the navel. It also speaks about Hrudayam in a unique dimension. The heart is also spoken of in a unique dimension, which is not the subject matter of modern anatomy. Then it also speaks about Shat Chakras. And all these aspects cannot be cited by any mechanical insight that we have today, or we might have it even tomorrow. Far advanced in technology, we might be able to get some insights. Yet it is not going to show up the Shat Chakras. It is not going to show up the esoteric aspects of human anatomy. So, how does this knowledge come then? This knowledge comes by yogic process called Yogaja Pratyaksha. And this sutra tells us about the basis of Yogaja Pratyaksha, whereby the seers of Upanishad, the rishis of Upanishads, spoke about the human embodiment, which is a unique kind of observation that yogis had. That is through Yogaja Pratyaksha. This is Yogaja Pratyaksha about Kaya, or the Kaya, or the body. To highlight some of the aspects that it speaks about, Shat Chakras, Granthi Traya. It speaks about something that is called as Brahma Granthi, Vishnu Granthi, Rudra Granthi, from where countless Prana nadis emanate, or Prana nadis reach and create a kind of manifestation of consciousness. As a matter of fact, it should be understood here that the ancient wisdom speaks about this embodiment as Pindanda. And Pindanda is said to be miniature replication of Brahmanda. So whatever this Ananta Koti Brahmanda consists, whatever is there in this huge, prolific, immeasurable universe is said to be manifesting in a minuscule scale in the human embodiment. We just now considered the Chaturdasha Bhuvanas, the Bhuho, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Maha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam, and then Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala, the 14 planes. All these 14 planes are within our embodiment. And of course this was considered while we were dealing with that sutra, Bhuvana Jnanam Surya Samyamat. So this is that dimension of the human body which is spoken of in the Arsha Vidyas, Arsha Vijnana. It's also Arsha Vichara. So it's a Vedic thought which has spoken about all this. And it is Paramarthika Satya. And all that it speaks about is absolute truth. So, it might be suggested that those who are interested in knowing about this marvelous embodiment, which is the dimension taken by the spiritualists, Adhyatmic, Parampara and Paramartha, they should look into the texts such as Siddha Siddhanta Paddhati, which will tell us about this embodiment. And there is also Upanishad called Garbho Upanishad. There is also Upanishad called Shariraka Upanishad. And these are very vital texts which speak about the human embodiment. So one may refer to these texts, look into these texts. The Siddha Siddhanta Paddhati of Gorakshanath is an unparalleled piece of literature which speaks about the Pindanda. The Natha Sampradaya postulates that within this body of 6 feet we have Sapta Khandatmaka, Sapta Sagaratmaka planet, the whole earth. It contains all the rivers, all the major rivers of the planet, all the major mountains of the planet, and the mapping is available in the text of Gorakshanath, which is Siddha Siddhanta Paddhati. It says that from below the navel up to the soles of the feet we have Sapta Patala Lokas, and the nabhi, the navel, is Bhuloka, and above the navel we have the 7 celestial planes, Urdhva Loka, such as Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Maha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. And it speaks about how the inmates of various planes, they reside within human embodiment. So Deva Devata, Yaksha Rakshasa, Gandharva, Devaganas, they all reside in our embodiment. And the common man is not at all aware of this. So our embodiment contains Deva Devatas, Vasurudra Aditya, Yaksha Rakshasa Gandharva, and various kinds of deities, demi-deities, semi-deities. So they are all inmates of human embodiment. Anyway, what today we call as ajnana in philosophy or philosophical systems, the ajnana is anadi vasana. And the anadi vasana gives us a kind of mindset whereby we claim that this is mine, that is mine. And then we also similarly claim this is my body. So everyone has such an attachment to one's own body that one claims without any reservation that this is my body. And this body, which is said to be my body, is a vyavaharika satya. So it is truth, no doubt about it. But that is vyavaharika satya. It is satya on the business plane of life. Because otherwise therefore no one else can claim right on your body. You can claim right on your own body. And that's how we use our own body. So that's the reality, that it is our body. our body is our body. But that is vyavaharika satya. But from the point of view of Paramartha, it is just bhasa, nirbhasa. So it is just mirage-like delusion or illusion, because of which we claim that this is my body. And little Adhyatma gamanam will help us understand that this is not our body, but this has been given to us. As a matter of fact, this embodiment contains the very Jaganniyanta, what is declared as the absolute principle in Vedanta. That is indweller in the embodiment. The Jaganniyanta, the Paramatma, the Parabrahma, the Brahma Tattva, it is residing in our own embodiment. That is called Antaryami. And then this embodiment consists of again Vasurudra, Aditya, Indra, Prajapati, etc. 33 deities. So Ashtavasu, Ekadasha Rudra, Dvadasha Aditya, Indra, Prajapati constitute those 33 deities of the Vedic pantheon. They all reside in our own body. And this embodiment contains the Anadi Ananta Atma, our self. Our self is a principle which has been there from time without beginning and will be there endlessly, time without an end. Anadi Ananta Atma. And that is the adishtana, that is the locus. Otherwise, we think that we are born on a particular day, date, time, place. And the thought that I am the owner of my body is a very childish thought from the point of view of Tattvajnana and philosophy. A mystic saint tells us that just as in a chowdhury called Dharmashala, there are people who walk in, stay for a night and walk out in the morning, walk away in the morning. So they are just pravasi, they are just inmates who come and reside in the chowdhury. And it's a temporary stay that they have, and they move out of it within a day or maybe in 2-3 days. So we are just lodging in the embodiment. Our finite being, ourself, is only inmate that is residing in the chowdhury for a limited range of time. So in our case, it might be there for 70, 80, 90, 100 years. And the embodiment is like Dharmashala or a chowdhury. And once that time is over, we just leave away. We go out of the embodiment. So in no way we are owners, possessors of the embodiment. We have entered the body without our own desires to be in it. And then we will be also ejected without our consent to the will. So it is without notice that we have entered the body, and without notice we will be departing from the body. This is what the Adhyatma tells us. And because of Maya, the illusion, the delusion, the ignorance, we try to have our mamatvam, or the mindness over the embodiment. And to be having this mindness on the embodiment itself is grave avidya. And this, we had little understanding when we dealt with this swadhyaya topic of niyamas. So, one should recall what was discussed in swadhyaya, where we were told about the 33 devatas, Vasurudra, Aditya, Indra, Prajapati. We were also told about this human embodiment and the Shat chakras having Shiva Ganas residing in it, like Shiva, Rudra, Sadashiv. Then the devatas, the Devi, Chamundadi, Shakti avatars, they are all within our embodiment. And it is also important to mention that according to Lagurudra, a passage in Vedic Upasana, it tells us clearly which Devata reside where in our embodiment. And all that knowledge, which Devata is where, why for, that is the Kayavyuha jnanam. What do the deities, demi-deities, semi-deities, Ishvara, Paramatma, Parabrahma, Atma, what do they do in the embodiment? Why for are they in the embodiment? That is the Kayavyuha jnanam that is spoken about here. So there are Devatas, Shakti Ganas, Chaturdasha Bhuvanas, there is that Jiva, finite soul, Yaksha, Rakshasa, Kinnara, Gandharva, Rakshasa, Vidyadhara, Apsara. From them, Jagadishwara, they all reside in our embodiment. Where? That is the Kayavyuha jnanam. So that's how this Kayavyuha is spoken of in Adhyatma, in Yoga, in Paramartha. And that is why this is a matter of knowledge. We all have the body, but we do not have this knowledge about the body. And that's why the Kshetra Vijnana, as is projected in Bhagavad Gita in the 13th chapter, is so important. And we are supposed to know this Kshetra Vijnana. And that is actually the Jnanam. Only as a passing statement, let me tell you that modern science speaks about something that is called as embryology, which is very mysterious subject matter. And it is in Nabhi Kendra, it is in the navel region. And it has great mysteries, as endorsed by even modern science. And therefore, Nabhi chakra is the locus very aptly selected for Kayavyuha jnanam. So that is how, this is the enunciation to that sutra as to what is Kayavyuha and what is Nabhi chakra and what is Kayavyuha jnanam. So with this, let us take a reading of Vyasa Bhashya, who tells us about the Nabhi chakra, Kayavyuha jnanam, and the Samyama which causes this revelation. So we'll finally take a look into the commentary of Vyasa. Basically, the human embodiment contains all these esoteric aspects of Pancha Prana, Pancha Vayu, Sapta dhatu, Pancha kosha, Shat chakra, Granthi and the Deva Devata Nivasa. So our human embodiment is really a marvel in that sense, of which we don't get any slightest clue by studying the body as it is in its exoteric aspects. And therefore Adhyatma speaks about the esoteric embodiment. So Patanjali says, by Samyama on nabhi chakra, one gets this unique knowledge, intuitive mystic knowledge about human embodiment. Kayavyuha jnanam. So Vyasa says, nabhi chakre samyamam krutva Kayavyuha vijaniyat. Kayavyuha is the constitution of human embodiment, and it is had by Samyama on nabhi chakra, which is also referred to as Manipuraka chakra. Now, he briefly mentions the grosser aspects of it. Vata pitta sleshmanam trayo doshaha. So Vata pitta kapha, these are the keels of the human embodiment, and these are spoken of in detail, their purpose, their function, their manifestation, their role in human embodiment, which you get in Ayurvedic texts, the Sharira Sthana in Ayurvedic texts. Dhatavaha Sapta, Tvak, Lohita, Maunsa, Snayu, Asthi, Majja, Shukrani. So these are those well-known Sapta Dhatus. These are the aspects of human embodiment, human body rather. They are called Dhatus. There are 7. Tvak, Lohita, Maunsa, Snayu, Asthi, Majja, Shukrani. The Tvak refers to the Cuterian and dermic layer of our body, the skin. Then there is Maunsa. Maunsa means the fleshy part. Then there are Snayu, muscles, Asthi, bones, Majja, the marrow, and Shukra, whereby the embodiment is capable of reproduction. The sperm cells and ovum cells. So these are the Sapta Dhatus. So the 7 chemical profiles of our human embodiment. And about these, he says, Purvam Purvam Esham Bhaya Iti Esha Vinyasaha. So the earlier parts of Sapta Dhatus are external to the mentioned subsequently. So Tvak is external most. Then it is the Lohit aspect, the blood aspect which is inside under the skin. And then beyond that is a Maunsa. Then beyond that is Snayu. Beyond that is Asthi. And beyond that is Majja. And beyond that is Shukra. If you penetrate, interpenetrate, the 7 dhatus are in the order of that. The first one is the external most, and the 7th one is internal most. So that's how he briefly describes the human embodiment. And as I divulge the esoteric aspects of human embodiment, Patanjali also will be touching upon some of those, like Kanthakupa, which is going to be coming in the next sutra. And then something as Kurmanadi, then Murna Jyotihi, and the Vrudayam. So Patanjali has touched upon some of the aspects of this human body and their esoteric purpose. So we will be looking into this. But anyway, the sutra here on Kayavyuha jnanam ends, and this encompasses everything from the indweller principle of Paramatma to external most, the layer of skin, the clothing aspect of our embodiment, which is the external most layer of the skin. And this is how the constitution of human embodiment is spoken of in yoga and adhyatma, which is suitable for spiritual process. So that should be sufficient to give a kind of curtain riser. And of course one can go into this Sharira Vijnanam, Goda Sharira Vijnanam, by looking into Siddha Siddhanta Paddhati, by looking into Garbhopanishad, by looking into Hridayopanishad, and the Upanishads which speak about the adibhautik, Adidaivik, Adhyatmic aspects of the embodiment. And that's mind-boggling book of facts which speaks about Sapta dhatus, Pancha koshas, Shat chakras, the Granthi-traya, and the Devata plane, how the Adidaivik aspects, deities, demi-deities, semi-deities are residing in the embodiment. And although they are residing, we claim that this is my body, which is sheer ignorance. So anyway, this knowledge of human embodiment scores importance in all Adhyatma processes, where we study Pancha koshas, where we study Shat chakras, the Granthi-trayas, etc. And basically the Atma, Paramatma, who reside in this embodiment. And it is sheer ignorance to claim that it is my abode when it is indwelled by divinity and indwelled by deities and indwelled by immortal Atma. Anyway, that is the Kayavyuha jnanam, which comes in the 29th sutra of the 3rd chapter. Now we proceed to the 30th sutra, which says Kantakupe Kshut-pipasa nivrittihi. We will understand how Kshut-pipasa nivritti is important for yoga and for samadhi and for spiritual process, and how the Samyama on a location such as Kantakupa, the cavity of the throat region, gives rise to conquest of thirst and hunger impulses, which is so important in yogic process. So that's how it is further explaining the esoteric aspects of the embodiment, which you get even in Patanjali's texts of Yoga Sutras. Now that's the subject matter of the next session. Enough for the time being. Namaskar all of you.